It is a hardware device used to connect several computers together. And it checks the destination address. If the destination address is unknown, it forwards the packets to another router. Hence, it is called as intelligent bridge. If you observe this picture, this we used to call it as SIM. Then what exactly in the SIM it contains? It contains the information regarding a particular number. Welcome back to one and all. Myself, Vasanta, lecturer in Computer Science, Vidhyaashram, Pre-University College, Temple of Excellence, Mysuru. Today, we are going to start with 5th session of networking concept. Whereas in the previous session, you have studied regarding what do you mean by transmission medium. That is how we are transferring, whether through cable or through by some signals, on which way we are transferring the data from one node to another node. Under that guided medium, that means with the help of cables, we are transferring the data. Under that twisted pair cable, coaxial cable as well as optical fiber cable. And with that, one more unguided medium, that means without cable, how we can able to transfer the data from one node to another node, that is through radio waves, microwaves, satellite waves, infrared waves as well as with the help of laser, we can able to send the data from one node to another node. Whereas on today's class, you will study regarding network devices. Which are the network devices we are using, whether to divide the network or whether to amplify the network or to increase the strength of the network, which are the devices we are using. Regarding that, you will study on today's class. With that, wireless versus mobile computing. How we can able to transfer, that is with wireless or with mobile computing. Then, what do you mean by generation of mobile computing? That is, what do you mean by 1G, 2G, 3G? How exactly it will work in 1G, 2G, 3G, 4G as well as 5G? What are the advantages under each generation? Regarding that, you will study on today's class. First, we will discuss about network devices. Under that, first we will study regarding hub. If you observe this picture here, this can be called as hub here. Then, what is the use of this hub? This helps to connect several computers together. It is a hardware device used to connect several computers together. For example, in centralized processing, we have center system. That center system can be called as hub. All the subsystem will going to connect it to the center system. This can be called as hub, or we can say it as server also. All the transaction will take place with the help of server system, that is with the help of hub only. All the transaction can be performed here. It is used in star topology from workstation to central computers. Here center computer can be called as hub. Here all the subsystem are connected, and with the help of center, with the help of hub only, all the transaction will perform. If hub fails to process, then everything will stop here because all the transaction will take place with the help of hub only. There are two types under that, active hub as well as passive hub. What do you mean by active hub? Active hub amplifies the signals it gets. It will amplify the signal, increases the signal here. Whereas passive hub allows the signals to pass from one computer to another computer. It helps to pass the signals from one computer to another computer. Whereas active hub helps to amplify the signals. Whereas here it helps to pass the signal from one computer to another computer. It means that hub helps to connect several computers together. Next, we will move on to switch. What do you mean by this switch? If you observe this picture, this we used to call it as switch here. Whereas here we have the ports. Here we can able to connect the networking computers. That means we can, with the help of these ports, we can able to get the network here. Whereas switch is a device that is used to segment network into different subnetwork called as subnet or LAN segment. For example, in the lab we have, for example, around 10 systems. We want to connect all the system to the internet. Then we are using this switch. That means each and every system will connect it to this port. Then we can able to get the internet here. To perform LAN operation, we need this switch here. Whereas segmenting the network into smaller subnet prevents traffic overloading in the network. Whereas on this device only, it will divide the network especially to each and every system, and it will control the traffic also. A switch is responsible for transferring data in a specific way and for forwarding packets between LAN segments. Then what do you mean by these packets? Packets are smallest individual unit. It's the smallest individual unit in the data. For example, consider we have one data. This data can be dividing into packets. Each packets have their own serial number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like that. Once when you want to transfer this data from source to destination, these packets will move in different path. After reaching destination, once again the packet will arrange in ascending order. It will rearrange the data and then we can get the final result here. That means here this mainly helps to transfer the packets in the network. To insulate the transmission from the other ports, the switch establishes a temporary connections here between the source and destination and then terminates the connection once the conversation is done. It helps to transfer the data to all the subsystems which is connected to that. That means with the help of switch only, we can able to get the network here. On that, this switch itself will control the traffic also. These are the things regarding switch. Next, we will move on to repeater. This is also one of the network devices. Here, it is a device that is used to increase the strength of the signals. Whereas if you observe this picture, this can be called as a repeater. What is the main use of this repeater? The name itself tells you repeater. It means that it will mainly strengthen the signal. Once it is passing from source to destination, then the signal may get, the strength is reduces. Whereas by this repeaters, we can able to increase the strength of the signals here. Whereas repeater is mainly used to increase the strength of the signal. There are two types of repeaters. One is amplifier repeater and one more is signal repeater. Whereas amplifier repeater, here it amplifies all incoming signals along with noise. Especially here it will amplify the signal, increases the signal strength. Whereas signal repeater, it amplifies only the signals here. Whereas along with noise here it will perform. Whereas here in signal repeater, only it amplifies only the signals here. Whereas repeaters helps to increase the strength of the signal mainly. But if you observe switch, here we are not increasing any strength. Whatever network we have, that we are dividing to several computers here. That can be divided into several computers and this helps to control the traffic also. Whereas repeater helps to increase the strength of the signal. Next, we will move on to bridge. Generally, what exactly the bridge will do? It will connect from one place to another place. In the same way, here also the bridge, it is a device that connects two similar network. Consider we have some network here, here one network, here also one network. Both are having same format, that is here the IP address is same, here also server IP address is also same. When they are similar format of network, to connect that we need bridge. Here this is helps to connect similar network, both the side. We must and should have similar type of network, then we are using bridge to connect that. Here one star topology, here also one star topology, both are same format. Then with the help of bridge, we can able to connect here. And it checks the destination address of the packets and decide whether to allow the packets or block it. It means that when data is passing from source to destination, on that time the data will dividing into packets. Each packets have their own serial number. After reaching destination, it will once again rearrange. Here each packet can move on different paths. Consider here we have several sides. One packet can move from this side, another packet can move from another side. Like that, each and every packet can move from different side from source to destination. And each packet has source address as well as destination address. That is, each system having the IP address. Especially here, each packets have IP address. After reaching the destination, once again, it will check whether it is a matching destination or not. If it is not matches, then it will move once again. Whereas, it checks the destination address of the packets and decide whether to allow the packets or to block the packets. After reaching each and every node, it will check destination address is matched or not. If it is not matches, then it will move once again. And on that side, it will block the data. Now, is it clear? This is regarding bridge. Whereas, bridge is used to connect similar type of network. Next, we will move to the routers. This is a picture of router. Then what is the use of this router? Here, if you observe the router, it is a device that connects to dissimilar network. Whereas bridge is used to connect similar type of network. Whereas router is used to connect dissimilar network. Both are different data type, different format. Only on that case, we are using router. It is used to connect dissimilar network. And here, router perform traffic directing function on the internet based on routing table. It means that it will tell you on which path the data has to be moved from source to destination, how it will move, especially the functionalities, the traffic control, everything is done by this router. And it checks the destination address. If the destination address is unknown, it forwards the packets to another router. Hence, it is called as intelligent bridge. Because already I told you, from source to destination, when you want to pass the packets, on that time, this bridge will check whether the destination address is matching or not. If it is not matching, then what it will do? It will forward that data, that packet to the next node. By that, the process will continue. Whereas a router is used to connect dissimilar network, and here in both bridge as well as router, almost same. Only thing is, here it will connect dissimilar network, whereas in bridge, it will connect similar network. And with that, in both the case, it check the destination address. If it is matches, then only the process will continue. If it is not matches, then it will forward to the next node. Like that, the process will continue. Next one, we will move on gateway. Whereas, it is a device that connects to dissimilar network. Here, this is the gateway, dissimilar network. Here it will connect. It performs protocol conversation and data translation. Which format to which format we want to the data, on that format it will translate. That is gateway. Actually, it is a node on a network. It's just a node it will perform. Where it has to be moved, how it has to be moved, and which data, especially data translation, here it will perform. It is a device and it connects dissimilar. Whereas if you observe the router, there also it will connect dissimilar network. Here also it will connect dissimilar network. But here it performs protocol conversation and data translation. Whereas in the previous case, that is on router, what happens? It checks the destination address. If it is not matches, then it will forward the packet to the next node. Whereas here, it will not check for any destination address. It performs protocol, conversation and data translation operation. Mainly it will perform. Next, we will move on modem. This is also one of the network device. For which purpose we are using modem? When they come on expansion of modem, that is modulation and demodulation. What do you mean by modulation? Converts digital to analog signals here. Especially this we are used to get the internet with the help of landline. With the help of landline, when you want to get the internet connection, then we are using modem. By that, we can able to get the internet to your personal computer. Whereas here, it converts the digital signal to analog signal. Demodulation. Under that, it converts analog to digital signals here, modulator as well as demodulator. Modems are of two types, internal modems and one more is external modems. There are two types. One is internal modem and one more is external modem. Whereas internal modems that are fixed within the computer. It is an inbuilt one. For example, in the laptop, if I'm having modem, then inside that only it is inbuilt. If I'm having the old system, desktop system, on that time we don't have inbuilt modem. On that time, we can get the external modem to get the internet with the help of landline. That means here the modems that are connected externally to the computer as other peripherals are connected here. Then what do you mean by this peripheral? All input, output, memory devices can be called as peripheral devices. Whereas here, how peripheral devices like for example input devices as well as output devices, how we are connecting to the computer, in the same way this external modems also used to connect to the computer. Next we will move on Ethernet card. What do you mean by this Ethernet card? Ethernet is a LAN architecture, uses bus or star topologies and can support data transfer rates up to 10 megabytes per second. It is a LAN architecture. It is mainly used in bus as well as star topologies and it supports data transfer rates. Mainly it will transfer the data rate up to 10 megabytes per second. The computers that are part of Ethernet have install a special card called Ethernet card connected through RG45 connector. With the help of RG45 connector, we can able to connect this Ethernet card here. Next, we will move on wireless versus mobile computing. What do you mean by this wireless versus mobile computing? When you come on, wireless communication means communication without the use of physical connectivity. There is no any direct connection here. Then it can be called as wireless communication without any wire, without any two-wire connection. Then we can call it as it is a wireless communication. Then on this, we can use radio waves, all the signals, satellite wave, anything we can use. But one thing, there is no physical connection here. They may involve two cell phones, laptops or satellite communications here we are using. Computing devices are continuously here. And here, connected to base stations, mobile means portable devices, because in the mobile there is no any direct connection, there is no direct wiring connection here. Wherever we want, we can able to carry that, and it is portable, it is very small in size. Then mobile computing does not necessarily require wireless communication. Next we will move on global system for mobile communication, that is GSM. What do you mean by this GSM? The expansion of that global system for mobile communication. Whereas it is widely used in cell phones. It is mainly used in cell phones, provides internal roaming capabilities. For roaming purpose, we are using this. And it is also covers rural area also. It covers rural area also. Cell phones user by SIM card. The expansion of SIM is subscriber identification module. Subscriber identification module. It is a small disk that slips in and out of the cell phone. This stores all connection information. It gives unique identification number. If you observe any SIM that contains a particular information, that is for particular number only it can work. And here that is subscriber identity module we can say here. Then GSM uses time division multiple access through which signal frequency support multiple channels here. If you observe this picture, this is GSM. Next we will move on SIM. Already I told you that is subscriber identity module. Usually for 1 marks you will get the question expand SIM like that, GPRS, expand SIM. If you observe this picture, this we used to call it as SIM. Then what exactly the SIM it contains? It contains the information regarding a particular number. That is, SIM card gives unique phone number. Each SIM card have their own unique number. That number will never repeat for anybody. It has memory. On that we have memory. On that we can able to store the data. For example, I want to transfer the data contacts number from one mobile to another mobile. On that time what we will do? We will copy all the contacts to the SIM. Then later on we will insert that SIM to the new mobile. There we can able to copy. That means each SIM has some memory. On that memory we can able to store the data. It has memory, processor and ability to interact with user. Then here it has 16 to 64 KB of memory, which is enough to store contacts number, messages and other data. We can able to store data, messages and few information we can able to store here, and the capacity up to 16 to 64 kilobytes of memory here we have. That means this SIM have some unique number. With that, it has some memory as well as for processing also we can use this. And next we will move on. Code division multiple access. What do you mean by this code division multiple access? This technique does not assign a specific frequency to each user, but every channel is used fully here. Then all users transmit in the same wide at any time in the same wide band of spectrum. Each user's signal is spread over the entire bandwidth by a unique spreading code here. And here signals are sent along with unique code. With some unique code, signals can be sent here, and at receiver end, using the same code, the signals can be recovered here. From source to destination with some code, they can able to send the data. At the receiver side, with the help of same code, the receiver can get the same result here. And the next one, GPRS. What is the use of this GPRS? That is General Packet Radio Service. For which purpose we are using? Especially this GPRS is used to identify the location. For example, if I fixed this GPRS to a car, then I can able to identify wherever that car will move, that address, that path I can easily get here. Whereas it used in wireless communication, there is no any direct connection here. Without that also I can able to get the information regarding that. Whereas it is used to transfer large file, emails, download games, real-time news also we can able to get here. And files are transferred by breaking them into packets here. Here whatever data we want to transfer, that will here also it will divide that into packets and then it will transfer. GPRS provides high speed of 56 kilobytes per second to 114 kilobytes per second. The speed range from 56 to 114 kilobytes per second we can able to process here. The data rate is fast here and we can able to get where exactly it is moving, what is the work regarding that we can able to perform here. Next we will move on WLL, that is wireless in local loop. What do you mean by this? In traditional telephone network, your phone is connected to nearest telephone exchange through copper wires. Usually I cannot able to perform roaming and all here. It will connect to the nearest place. There from that once again it will connect to the nearest place and then process will perform here. In wireless local loop, subscriber is connected to the nearest telephone exchange using radio signals. Mainly here we are using copper wires, and with the help of copper wires, radio signals can be sent to the nearest channel. And it provides proper bandwidth and proper customer services also, that is wireless in local loop. Next we will move on EDGE. What is the expansion of EDGE? That is enhanced data rate for global evolution. What do you mean by that? It was developed for 3G process and high speed up to 384 kilobytes per second And an intermediate steps in evolution of 3G is WCDMA, that is wide CDMA. Next we'll move on, generation of mobile computing. What do you mean by that? That is G is the wireless network, refers the generation of wireless network technology. So wireless network, we can able to transfer the data. Whereas generally generation can be called as 1G, 2G, 3G, 4G, 5G like that. Whereas when they come on 1G network, there it is introduced in 1980s. And here this generation uses only analog signals. Here we are using only analog signals. We are not using any digital signal. Only analog signals we can able to transfer here. It was used only for voice call with a speed of 2.4 kilobytes per second. It means that this mainly in 1G, what happens, only voice call we can able to perform. We are not able to send any messages, any text messages, audio. Only we can able to send. Only audio calls is possible here. That is voice call is possible here. International roaming was impossible. Roaming is not at all possible. Only voice call we can able to perform. Low capacity here. Capacity wise it is very less, but it is very expensive. Devices were bulky and expensive. These are the features of 1G network. Next we will move on 2G network. Whereas 2G network was developed in 1990-91, we used to call it as 2G generation. Whereas here it uses digital transmission. Whereas in the previous case in 1G, it uses analog system. Whereas here it uses digital transmission. Increases quality of services. And with that, wireless data services was introduced here. SMS service started. Till that message we cannot able to send. Whereas in 1G only voice call we can able to perform. But in 2G we can able to send messages also. SMS also we can send. GSM technology is used here. These are the few features of 2G network. Next we'll move on 2.5G network. Then when they come on 2.5G network, GPRS technology is introduced on this. In 2.5G, GPRS technology tracking is possible here. Speed ranges from 56 to 114 kilobytes per second. And here MMS, that is Multimedia Messages Service, and SMS was introduced. We can able to perform multimedia messages service is also possible. Messages also we can able to send. With that, voice call also we can able to perform here in 2.5G. Then permanent connection to internet here, and it is increased clarity. These are the few features of 2.5G network. Next we will move on 3G network. What exactly the 3G network tells? It was introduced in 2004 to 2005. We used to call it as 3G network. Whereas here the speed ranges from 8 to 10 megabytes per second. And video call is possible here. Till that video call is not possible. But when they come on 3G there, we can able to perform video call is also possible. Whereas in 1G, only voice. Whereas in 2G, voice plus messages. But when they come on 3G, there in 3G we can able to perform. We can able to perform video calls also. And cost wise it is very high and increased clarity. These are the few features of 3G network. Next we'll move on 4G network. When they come on 4G network, this was introduced in 2011 and the speed ranges from 100 megabytes to 1 gigabytes per second. 100 megabytes per second to 1 gigabytes per second. And wireless connection to internet for home and business customers here. Cost wise also high cost, and mobile device conference, high quality gains, mobile TV, broadband cast, everything here we can able to perform in 4G network. Next, we will move on the next one, 5G network. Whereas when they come on 5G network, this have high bandwidth, introduction of wearable device with artificial intelligence capabilities is there here. Artificially we can able to decide what is the next operation we have to perform. Then high speed for uploading and downloading. Within few seconds, whichever data, how much data we want, we can upload and download here. And development of wireless World Wide Web is possible here. These are the few generations, especially network we are getting. In the next class, we'll meet you once again with the remaining concept of the same chapter. Thank you for all of you.